The police expected chaos. What they found was silence. The call came in just after midnight. Neighbors reported screaming, glass breaking, a woman's voice begging someone to stop. When officers arrived, the front door of the suburban house was wide open. Inside, the house was empty. No people, no bodies, no signs of a struggle, except one thing. The floors had been scrubbed clean, too clean, and under the sharp white lights, forensic spray revealed what water and bleach couldn't hide. Blood, a lot of it. Someone had been hurt here, badly, and someone had taken the time to erase it. Before we begin, if you love chilling stories where truth hides in plain sight and justice always finds its way back, subscribe to the channel now. You don't want to miss what comes next, because this story isn't about who disappeared. It's about who cleaned the blood. The house belonged to Daniel and Marissa Cole, married 12 years, no children, no criminal record. To the neighborhood, they were perfect. Daniel was a respected financial consultant, calm, polite, the kind of man who waved every morning and volunteered at community fundraisers. Marissa was quieter. She kept to herself, worked from home as a freelance editor, rarely seen without long sleeves, even in summer. No one noticed the bruises, or maybe they noticed and chose not to ask. That night, the screams lasted less than 2 minutes. Then nothing. When police searched the house, they found no forced entry, no weapons, no fingerprints out of place. The cleaning had been thorough, almost professional. Too professional for panic. Detective Aaron Pike stood in the living room, staring at the floor as blue light glowed beneath his feet. "Who cleans a crime scene this well?" he muttered. "And then just leaves?" In the bathroom, they found a soaked trash bag filled with towels, all pink-stained, all recently washed. In the laundry room, bleach fumes still hung in the air. But Marissa was gone, and so was Daniel. Daniel Cole walked into a police station the next afternoon, alone. He looked tired, pale, but calm. "My wife is missing," he said evenly. "I think someone broke into our house." Detective Pike watched him carefully. Most people in shock talk too much, or not at all. Daniel talked just enough. He explained that he'd been away on a business trip, returned late, found the house empty. Panic set in. He cleaned up broken glass. Only glass, he emphasized, then went looking for Marissa. When he couldn't find her, he came to the police. "Why clean anything?" Pike asked. Daniel hesitated, just a second too long. "I didn't want the neighbors to worry," he said. "Marissa hates attention." It sounded reasonable, almost, but Pike had already seen the crime scene, and glass doesn't bleed. Forensics told a different story. Blood spatter patterns showed violence, repeated blows, defensive wounds, a struggle that moved from the living room to the kitchen. Marissa hadn't left willingly. Then a neighbor came forward, an older woman across the street. "She knocked on my door," the woman whispered, "late at night, crying. She asked to use my phone." "Why didn't you call the police?" Pike asked. The woman's eyes filled with shame. "Her husband pulled up. He smiled at me and said she was sick, that she had episodes. I didn't want trouble." Daniel Cole had waved that same smile. Phone records showed Marissa tried to dial 911, but the call never connected. The walls of the house had been cleaned, but they remembered everything. Daniel insisted he loved his wife, said she was unstable, that she hurt herself. Then the medical examiner found something chilling. Marissa's blood wasn't the only blood in the house. Mixed within it, microscopic, nearly erased, was Daniel's. Under his fingernails, a cut he claimed came from broken glass matched the timing perfectly. The man who cleaned the blood had bled too. When confronted, Daniel stayed calm, until Pike placed one photo on the table. A storage unit, rented in Daniel's name. Inside, cleaning supplies, industrial grade, and a rolled-up rug, still damp. Daniel's smile finally cracked. They found Marissa alive. Barely. She had crawled from the rug when Daniel left the unit, collapsed behind a row of dumpsters. A night security guard heard her breathing. She survived because Daniel thought he'd cleaned everything. In court, Marissa testified with shaking hands. "He always said no one would believe me," she said, "that he could erase anything." Daniel was sentenced to life. No parole. The house was sold, repainted, renovated. But some stains never disappear. Detective Pike drove past the old house years later. New owners, fresh flowers, bright lights. He knew the truth. Violence doesn't vanish because you scrub hard enough. Truth doesn't disappear because you smile politely. And justice doesn't forget, no matter how clean the floor looks. Because blood tells stories, and someone is always listening. They tried to erase the evidence. They tried to rewrite the story, but the truth rose anyway. If this story reminds you that justice may be delayed, but it is never denied, subscribe to the channel now for more chilling, powerful stories where the truth always comes out. Because no matter how well you clean the blood, you can never clean your conscience.